Listen to the sound of footsteps in the dark, to voices that may not be quite human, to the sound of screams in the night. The Haunted Cabaret, the home of all things horror, on Rhode with your host, George Garner. The Haunted Cabaret starts now.
All right. That is, of course, the one and only Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult, leading off this week's edition of the Haunted Cabaret here on Rhode Island Free Radio. With me in the studio, Chuckles the Evil Clown.
Good evening.
Who has reached unprecedented heights of celebrity, as I understand it.
I wouldn't call it that, but it was pretty cool.
It was. It was. And this all took place at Connecticut.
Yeah.
And
good event.
It was. I mean, I wanted to be there. I picked up some kind of plague, as Tony Jones likes to say.
Which, by the way, multiple people were asking, of course, where's George?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
They could make a T-shirt that says, where's George? Make some money around here.
Yep, and my T-shirt will just say plagued.
The two most wanted radio hosts for Rhode Island Comic Con were not there Saturday.
Oh,
I
who
wasn't
were
there
they?
and you weren't there. But Sunday was good because I picked up the ball for us, and I showed up and I made sure to advertise
That's
both
good.
of our shows.
Because I'll tell you, I was feeling like absolute shit. Like the whole weekend, I didn't recover until I got some sleep at work on Sunday afternoon.
Now you're fired.
No, I'm not fired. I just recovered and
All right.
able to do my job even better.
Yeah, you wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been the best thing for you to go there though, because there was a lot of affordable collectible toys, and with
Surrounded
that new
by
house,
slot machines.
you would have been screwed.
Yes.
And there was a booth that had Godzilla figurines at a affordable price that I walked by quickly a couple times.
Right. In your case, it's Gamera that is your weakness, not Godzilla.
Yeah.
But
Gamera is a big time weakness.
yeah.
Do they make other toys other than Gamera with that?
You mean Gamera's opponents and things
yeah,
like that?
do they make like the
You know what?
sword-faced one? And
You know
all
what?
that?
I've never seen them.
No.
No, it's almost like there's several figurines of Gamera, but the opponents just. You're right. That's a shortcoming, but they really don't.
One of our loves, finally, someone just make Gamera versus Godzilla, please. Right?
Well, it took years to bring Freddy and Jason together. I'm sure they're in strict negotiations now for King Kong versus Godzilla. I think the problem with Godzilla versus Gamera is they're not going to meet as equals.
No.
See, that's the problem. In other words, Daiei Studios, who owns Gamera, knows that in any kind of negotiation whatsoever, Toho has the advantage.
Of course. Godzilla is way more popular than Gamera.
Yeah. And do we really want to see Gamera in any circumstances beat Godzilla?
I would like it.
I mean, I'll tell you, it'd be a twist in the ending if he did.
Yeah, I would find it very enjoyable.
Right. But again, it comes down to this type of thing, too, of which Godzilla versus which Gamera.
Well, you obviously have to have Godzilla being the bad Godzilla, the one that smashes stuff.
Right, but what I'm
Gamera's a good guy.
Right, but what I'm talking about is in terms of this movie series. I mean, is Godzilla going to be 140 feet tall in this one? Is he going to be 400? In other words, the same argument you bring to the King Kong versus Godzilla debate. It goes double for Gamera versus Godzilla.
I'd say take the one from Final Wars, the Godzilla in that
Godzilla.
one.
Which is actually mostly a throwback to the original Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Right. Take him and have him face Gamera.
Right. And now Gamera, we have two different Gameras. Because we have the Gamera of the original movie from the 60s and the subsequent Gamera versus Baragon, Gamera versus Guiron, Gauss, that series there. And then we also have that trilogy of Gamera films from the 90s, which are actually probably three of the best, well, not just kaiju, three of the best monster movies
those are so good
ever made.
The only way I got those, I got them at a sale, and they were not dubbed, and they're all
you definitely want them subtitled.
They did not have it. That's
Nothing.
I bought it. It's the original Japanese version, just made to fit and record on the DVD. I didn't care because the monster fights was what I was fast forwarding to.
Yeah, no, especially of those three movies, especially. I mean, Gamera, the first one, Guardian, is good.
Mm-hmm.
Then versus Legion is great. Then versus ISIS is also great. Since when was there like a 3-movie series that was all great? It doesn't happen too often.
That'd be really cool.
It
Gamera
would.
versus modern day ISIS. You had to.
Now we're
the
talking.
idea.
I think now you guys have come up with a crossover that could work.
Johnny Quest will have nothing on that.
Johnny Quest will be involved.
Or we can get the two.
Haji.
We can get the two figures, and this can be a recruit for Figure Federation.
Oh man, I'm on this.
Set up the VHS film.
Chuckles Presents is starting soon, so I need new ideas.
Now
Thank you.
now that's a 3-way that should happen, right? Gamera versus the terrorist group ISIS, with Johnny Quest and Haji as the facilitators of the conflict. Because keep in mind, back in the old Johnny Quest cartoon, they were always jetting off to the Middle East, right? So why can't we have Johnny Quest and Haji, as the ones that find those amulets that bring Gamera to life, right? Just in time for Gamera to interrupt the ISIS creation of a giant cloverleaf-like monster.
Nice. I like this. I like where this is going.
And I'm shutting the hell up right now because why are we giving these ideas away
Yeah.
for free?
This is a good idea. You should be making this.
This is a nice one. This is in progress. All right, stop it right there. The next time I open my mouth about that idea, it's going to be for...
You know, it would be hysterical if you could do it, though. You know how they show, like, ISIS setting up the artillery, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the American artillery pound them into the ground, and they show them blow up. What if you did that, but with Gamera? You show them setting up the artillery, and all of a sudden, Gamera's turtle shell goes by and torches them while they're on the ground. That would be hysterical.
Either that, or that would be good. That would be good. What I was thinking more along the lines of, and again, I talked as far as I talked, so I'm not giving anything else away in the idea. This would just be the beginning of the idea. But, kind of dropping one of those 21,000-ton bombs on the ISIS encampment, which blasts a big hole right down through the layers of prehistory, and out comes a giant monster.
Nice. I like that. Now, this is probably a bad idea, too. I'm going to have PETA after us. But it's a good thing we're on your show.
I don't fear PETA.
I was thinking about this, too. Like Johnny Quest and his sidekick and Bandit are on their flying rug. And out of nowhere, the turtle shell goes by and catches the rug on fire. And the last thing you hear is Bandit go, bark! that would be hysterical.
Actually, that would be good. I suggested even better for us, for all you diehard Gamera fans who know who I'm talking about. What would be even better would be for the monster Guiron.
Yes.
With the bladed nose.
Yep.
To come out of that hole in the ground made by the 21,000-pound bomb. And as Haji and Johnny and Bandit fly above Guiron.
We're getting hate mail.
Let's just say the next scene of Bandit is Bandit in two pieces on the desert floor.
And then they're frying him over a spit in the desert.
No, he just lays there.
All right.
just dead with his tongue hanging out. I mean, I never...
Are our lawyers ready, Mr. Jones? Are our lawyers ready for this one?
I guess I'm showing my true colors about Johnny Quest because as much as I enjoyed the Johnny Quest cartoon, I never liked Bandit.
Yeah, I never liked the Johnny Quest cartoon. That was my worst, Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess differences of opinion is what the world thrives on. But, I'm going to have to ask you to explain yourself at some other time. But all right, for now, let's go to the movie for the movies. I'd like to be going to the movies right now. There's a couple I really want to see. All right, let's go back to the music instead, though, for the time being. Let's go with Something to Believe In by the Ramones. And what I would like to believe in is... Okay, go ahead, Tony. All right. That was Ramones, Something to Believe In, off the Animal Boy album, which, in my humble opinion, one of the best Ramones albums. Something to believe in. Something tells me that what I would choose to believe in, would probably be a lot different than the common run of humanity.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't hang out with you if you believed in the common route of humanity. I'd be out that door.
No. I'll tell you one thing I believe is that we were talking about Godzilla versus Gamera. The Gamera in that trilogy of movies that we were talking about, the good ones.
Yep.
That Gamera could probably defeat Godzilla.
You'd have to have them because they'd have to put this no Chuckles Crypt feeling out there. Because Godzilla would have to be the bad guy.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't want it any other way, actually.
Because Gamera's always been the good guy.
Well, Gamera is in the old series. He started out a bad guy. Then, just like Godzilla, they switched him to a good guy.
The savior of children.
Right. In the trilogy, now he's not a good guy. If you pay close attention, I know you do, but people in general, if an audience pays close attention, you realize that he kills the monsters and human beings with equal enthusiasm.
As he should.
Right, because his programming.
Yeah, I mean,
his programming is to be a guardian of the Earth, not the guardian of humanity. So, in other words...
Yeah, Earth's his it was like Swamp Thing. Earth's his number one concern. He doesn't care about...
Right. The reason he fights the Gausses and other creatures like that is because they threaten the Earth. The reason, when humans threaten the Earth, he will fight humans.
He'll squish them and eat them and become a giant snapper turtle.
What I love best is when he takes off in the burst of fire and roast people.
Oh, those buildings around there too are torched.
Yeah, it was in both Legion and ISIS, right? That they showed him actually do that.
Yep.
Because as a kid, even when you were watching the Gamera's Friend of Children, you knew that when he took off, there was a burst of fire.
You know what I love about these monster movies? The stupidity in the people that watch the battles. It kind of reminds me of the idiots that decided to sit down and watch the Civil War battles and were complaining that they got shot at.
Well, if you mean that the people that when Godzilla or Gamera fights another giant creature, you mean the people in the movie that watch the battles?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't criticize that. I mean, come on, as both of us would be sitting out there.
I wouldn't be as close to some of these idiots. They're so big, you don't need to be in the building next to them, standing around. I'd be sitting in somewhere where I have easy access to get out.
Well, I think the only person that was ever brave enough to be in the next building to Godzilla was Raymond Burr. I mean, he's Perry Mason.
There's a lot of idiots that were bright enough to stand there and watch him, like Godzilla 2000 when they're all up in the top of the building looking at him. No. You're in the top of the building. You're way too close. I'm going to watch you, but I'm going to watch you from a distance where I can screw. Because the end of this is you're going to get killed.
Well, yeah, especially when...
How can you spread the stories if you're dead? It's I saw Godzilla battle. Yeah, right. If you were that close, you didn't.
Now, not to go too far down the history nerd wormhole, but as history fans all in this room, it's kind of the equivalent of the Revolutionary and the Civil Wars where people would set up picnic lunches next to the battlefield.
And then they'd wonder why people are really getting shot. Oh, Chip, that guy really got shot. It's a battlefield.
Well, at least in the Civil War battles, the spectators knew the range of the rifles. Right? I mean...
The hell they did. They sat up close. They were getting cannonballs launched at them while they were cutting bread.
That's what, so in other words, the people picnicking watching the battles actually did receive some incoming.
Yeah, they were stupid. They're really stupid.
See, that I never realized. I always thought that such audiences knew enough that if the range of the if the range of the musketry or the riflery was X, fill in the blank, which I don't know the exact number, but if the range of the rifle was X, then you sit beyond that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember which Godzilla movie. You'd probably get this one. They're all sitting there watching the battle. Godzilla wins, and he's pissed off. So the next thing he does is he turns and looks at the people that are in the building, and he torches them.
That was Godzilla 2000.
Yeah,
Godzilla versus
I thought so.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that movie is Yeah, he fought the monster. Remember that was the one where the alien tried to swallow
Orgon. Awesome.
Yeah, that was the one. Right, the alien tried to swallow Godzilla, which was a bad idea because once Godzilla's flesh starts to dissolve, then the radioactivity comes from within.
Right,
and that's what happened to Orgon. He got cooked and burst like a microwave. But yeah, but the funny thing about that movie is, I guess somebody said that we can't let it go down on such a negative. In other words, and remember that. And I thought it was just the English version, but it wasn't. It was both versions, Japanese and English. There's some stupid narrator at the end of the movie talking about how Godzilla has fought for Earth. I don't remember the exact words, but there's some hopeful message from some narrator. At the same time on the screen, what you're seeing is, like you said, Godzilla he just killed this creature, and he hasn't had enough destruction. So he just looks, and it's a great scene.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
He just looks around, turns his head, looks left, looks right. That just the spines light up, and he just torches everything.
Yeah. What positive meaning can you get from that?
Yeah.
Especially the people watching a battle. You idiots! Why? That's what I say. I love that in the Godzilla movies. They're just, the Japanese folks are dumb. They post themselves up so close to the battle. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, now, I guess it's dumb or courage or somewhere in between when the military does it.
Well, there's the old saying, there's no such thing as military intelligence. You're doing what you're told to do.
Right.
At a base of you're going to get shot. But
right, you're going to die, but you're buying time for everybody to run.
At that point in time, I don't care if I'm going to get shot for going AWOL. If I have fired 30 rockets at this creature, and it's not even flinching, and it's turning to look at me, I'm running.
I'll tell you, that was another great moment in the Gamera trilogy, as I'll call it, with the three great Gamera movies from later. Remember there was a scene in one of I think it was Gamera versus Legion, when one of the soldiers says one of the young troops is scared. He's obviously scared. And the sergeant says, "Listen, if you have to turn and run, you do it."
Oh, yeah.
And he said, I'm like, somebody said it. He said, even Gamera can't stop these things. If you feel like you want to turn and run, you do it.
I wouldn't even need the permission.
But my point is, it was after all the monster movies, it was finally acknowledged by somebody.
Yeah, you're not going to kill these things. Why are you even trying? Just run.
Except, ironically, that was one of the few. Gamera versus Legion was one of the few Japanese monster movies where they did.
Yeah.
If you remember, it was the military actually that finished off the Legion.
Although
Gamera killed the Queen, then the military finished off the Legion.
It would be cool, however, to have a front row seat in Mechagodzilla. That would be awesome.
Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
You're most likely to die in a Mechagodzilla fight.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe
if
not.
you're intelligent enough to fight the creature and get the win on it, maybe you won't die.
You mean you want to run Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, I want to run Mechagodzilla.
I thought you meant a front row seat in Mechagodzilla, as in the Mechagodzilla movie.
No, I want a front row seat in that pilot.
You want to be in the Mechagodzilla. Yeah. Do you see what happens to Mechagodzilla
at
the end of every one of those battles?
He gets blown up, but at least it's cool. I could take out some towns and stuff with me.
But it's not cool. It is about 1,000,000 degrees after Godzilla melts Mechagodzilla and he's down on his face.
Maybe I could tag up with Godzilla and we can just destroy Japan together.
Actually, that happens in almost in what is it? Oh wow! I just had a glitch.
Which one is it? Is it
it's the one where I think it's the latest of the Mechagodzilla ones, where the little girl befriends Mechagodzilla and she names him Kyo,
because Mecha has bones from the original.
Right,
Godzilla.
They made a new Mechagodzilla. Right, they used the bones, the skeleton of the original Godzilla, and so because there's the DNA in Mechagodzilla, he's subject to. Well, when Godzilla roars, they bond. And I
want to team up with that and then destroy Japan. Maybe come over and step on Obama.
Right, I was thinking more along.
Oh, can't say that. Now we're going to be the next freaking boycotted folks.
Well, Mechagodzilla's life matters.
It does.
But no, I'm thinking of speaking of the melt, a million degrees, I was thinking of that other Mechagodzilla movie where Godzilla just runs amok and trashes him.
Yeah, I don't want to be that
ends
one.
up stepping on his head, and and the Mechagodzilla starts to melt.
That's the
literally melt.
Yeah, no, that's the very badly built Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
That's the Japanese knockoff.
Yeah, actually, the best Mechagodzilla, and I'll tell you, this would be a debate for Godzilla and Mechagodzilla fans the world over. Which Mechagodzilla do you like better? Because if you remember back in the 70s and 80s series, 70s series, the late 70s, it was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, otherwise known as Godzilla versus the Cosmic Monster. And the Mechagodzilla was it looked similar, but in the newer movies, it's completely a robot. In other words, there's a human crew like you said, in the control panel, in the control booth.
Wasn't one of the crew's cockroaches?
That was right. That was the original Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, thought so.
Right. And what happened was they took human brain tissue. Now, and I thought this was way better. I mean, because it makes a lot more of a destructive creature. Is rather than make it a robot controlled by a human crew, they took the brain tissue from the scientist's daughter, and they made a human. Well, it's a cyborg, a human robot interface.
Don't say that word. Cyborg. He'll show up. Yeah, don't.
Okay.
Think of a different word.
Okay. A human mechanical interface.
Thank you, because I just heard clinking out there. All right, we don't need him coming in. He'll show up. You said my name.
Yeah. And the control, you couldn't kill Mechagodzilla because the control for Mechagodzilla was in the girl. Mm-hmm. They had hidden the control in the girl. And they hypnotized her that it was her emotions that made Mechagodzilla go berserk. In other words, when she got angry, Mechagodzilla went into action.
Can you imagine when that girl gets older?
and a certain time of the month.
Oof. And she's still controlling Mechagodzilla?
Yeah.
You don't get her that Godiva chocolate you wanted?
She'll Hillary Clinton all over you.
Oh, yeah. You're getting blown it up. It is.
Right, but I thought that was way better. I mean, as far as, if you want the destructive, then you have a human mind's destructive power.
That was good, but I still like the latest one. I'm kind of biased towards that one because I thought they did a better job on the construction of the suit for that one.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, yeah, they had more, yeah.
That was my favorite. Modern one was more my favorite one.
All right, then you probably like Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. When they did the Mecha Ghidorah.
Oh, I love that one.
I knew you
yes,
did.
I have actually, not a nerd talk, but I do have both Ghidorahs, the Mecha and the original, and a signed, hand-drawn picture of Ghidorah from the guy that did the concept for Ghidorah.
Nice.
So I'm a huge Ghidorah fan.
Right. My only objection now, and I hope you don't get mad at me, but on the Mecha Ghidorah that fought Godzilla, why... If you're going to have the human in the Ghidorah, why would you have the human in that bubble right at the junction of the three necks where every time Godzilla blasts at him, that's right where the beam goes?
Again, it was
That's an
bad
obvious
design.
It was. I mean, why did you need that exposure at all? I mean, they didn't have the technology to keep her immersed in the body somewhere?
It was mass production. It was like the Russians, They mass produce the best submarines, but they forget the walls that keep the nuclear radiation from killing the sailors. They ran out of money.
Overlooked the obvious.
Yeah, this is going to go. You're good. And they had to draw a lottery to see who was going in the center. So maybe that's what it was.
Maybe. But I just like I said, I just noticed that. I mean, otherwise it was a good design.
Think of this movie idea, and we probably shouldn't say this out loud because someone's going to steal it. The Battle of the Mecha Giants. Mecha Ghidorah
versus Mechagodzilla.
Versus Mechagodzilla versus the Mecha King Kong.
And you could even throw in that Mega Guira robot from the Mysterians.
Think of that. Someone's going to steal this idea. I should not have said anything. I am sorry.
You could steal it. I'm not quite sure how you'd... I mean, other than doing the obvious of having an enemy power just take all four of them.
Yeah.
I'm saying other than that, I mean, I'm not sure what you can do with that idea.
It'd be cool. We should do it.
It would be. It would definitely be cool.
Are you hearing me, Toho Studios?
But we're not letting Toho Studios anywhere near King Kong. because Toho Studios, for some reason, they make great giant reptiles, they make great dragons,
but they make googly eyed
how? I mean, this is not only a question asked for the first time on the Haunted Cabaret. This is a question that has been asked, kind of like, what is the meaning?
This is a question for the ages.
It is. It's like,
they screwed it up so many times.
It is like, what is the meaning of reality? What is the meaning of ancient scrolls?
If a tree falls in the woods,
does it have googly eyes like a Toho King Kong? If it's made by Toho,
and they made it so many times,
it's
like
a
the Godzilla.
friggin' Godzilla suit. I mean, it's a friggin' ape suit.
They did so bad. They even did other King Kong stories because they wanted to try them again. And each time, that King Kong looked worse and worse.
It did. I mean, it looked atrocious in King Kong versus Godzilla. It looked excruciating in King Kong Escapes.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I mean, that thing.
I remember one of them, it looked like a Barbie doll. The freaking King Kong, I was looking at it, and I'm like, that looks like a Barbie doll that they threw a monkey suit on.
It's something. I mean, all they got to do is just send somebody to the United States, go into a costume shop, and get an ape suit.
They're still going to put googly eyes on it when they're done.
I know. What is this thing with apes and having googly eyes? Although, you know what, though? They have a tendency toward that. Because on some of the less successful Godzilla movies, Godzilla has googly eyes, too, doesn't he? Some of the other giant reptiles and dragons have googly eyes too, don't they?
The earlier ones have googly eyes.
Yeah.
They probably ran out of eyes, so they grabbed those cheap googly eyes that you get from the craft store. Put those in.
I'll tell you, my favorite googly eyes I mean, obviously the ones we talked about now, but this one's for all you kaiju, Japanese giant monster experts. Okay, let me bring up a movie that is I hardly ever discussed anywhere ever. Yog Monster from Space, which is otherwise known as, its original title was Space Amoeba. Okay, Chuckles, I don't know if you've ever seen this one.
I think I have.
It's about these tourist development people land on a tropical island, and what's also landed there is this energy alien, this blue, he looks like a Star Trek energy alien type of thing. And what he does is this blue shapeless energy alien gets inside the local animals and makes them giant monsters. And there's an octopus, there's a crab, and a giant turtle.
I have seen that.
You have?
I have seen bits and pieces
of
that. Yep.
Watch it again, and obviously the big googly eyes they put into the land-walking octopus didn't survive too much when they submerged it in the water. Because if you watch the first few scenes of the giant octopus, the eyes are fine. It's got like round, glowing eyes. From about after the scene of where the octopus is in the water and the guys fight it with the spear guns, the next time you see it attacking on land, it's got all this model cement caked around its eyes.
Oh, poor thing.
Obviously, I mean, you see that some disaster befell it underwater. Like, for example, the eyes the glue letting go and the eyeballs floating out of the costume.
That's another thing. What is with Japan and killer octopuses?
They have a thing for. I'll tell you, Godzilla originally was supposed to be an octopus.
I'm glad he wasn't.
I think the whole world is glad Godzilla wasn't an octopus. But you're right. They do have a thing for them. Godzilla was supposed to be an octopus originally until they turned him into a dragon. There's a giant octopus in War of the Gargantuas.
There's one in Kong.
There's one in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yep.
There's another one indirectly in the movie Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Yes, with the big Frankenstein, right?
Right.
Yes.
And that one, that's one where they had the two ending, one of those two ending deals, because originally the original ending of Frankenstein Conquers the World was that Frankenstein was dragged into the ground by a giant octopus, not the monster Baragon. So he's supposed to kill Baragon, and then a giant octopus comes out of nowhere. Literally, I've seen this print. It just, oh my God, there's another one. With 20 seconds to go in the movie, the octopus grabs Frankenstein and drags him underground.
You think they use octopuses because afterwards, if they don't perform the way they're supposed to, they can cook them and eat them? Yeah, so it's like a movie prop and lunch all in one.
Well, the King Kong versus Godzilla octopus ended up, I'm sure, as lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was, that was used. They used a real octopus.
That thing was big. That had to be huge. I mean, it was big enough where it was tangling up on the guy in the suit. Unless the guy in the suit was really small. But still, that was big.
They did a good job, but that was a real octopus.
Yeah.
Now it was a constructed octopus in Frankenstein Conquers the World, and then actually War of the Gargantuas was the sequel. They didn't market it as such, but Frankenstein Conquers the World was the first movie. War of the Gargantuas was the sequel. The brown gargantua was actually the Frankenstein monster, all grown up.
All right.
Okay, and that's right. And then they used, because even they realized how stupid it was to put that octopus at the end of Frankenstein Conquers the World, but they built it already, so they wanted to use it somewhere. So they put it at the beginning of War of the Gargantuas when it fights the green gargantua.
I wonder if I can buy this prop for Chuckles Presents.
I'll tell you, that would be an awesome thing to have.
Yeah, we can use it in parades. Sea creature parade.
Yeah, it can have its tentacles around all those naked women that are pursuing you at the conventions now.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Works for me. All right, let's go back to the music for a second. All these octopuses give me the blues. Let's go back to them. That's not the name. That's not the title of the song. That's just my.
That's a good song. Let's sing.
It would be a good song. All these octopuses give me the blues.
There you go. There's a new song idea for Tony Jones of the Cretin 3.
Instead, they will wrap around "Oh Pretty Woman," Albert King here in the Haunted Cabaret at Rhode Island Free Radio.
Oh, pretty woman, sugar, right sun says on you. She painting powder ain't gon' help you none, 'cause she's a pretty woman right down to the bone. So you just might as well still leave your skin alone. Pretty woman, what's the matter with you? Can't make you love me no matter what I do. Oh, pretty woman, what you trying to do? You kept on fooling around till I got stuck on you. So you just drop the mess and come down off your throne. Stop using my full heart for just a stepping stone. Pretty woman, what's the matter with you? Can't make you love me no matter what I do. Oh, pretty woman, that's all right for you. Now you just go on doing what you want to do. But someday, when you think that you have got it made, you get in water deep in love, so you can't wait. Pretty woman, what's the matter with you? Can't make you love me, yeah, no matter what I do. Oh, pretty woman.
All right, that was a little Albert King singing the blues, "Oh Pretty Woman." And I'll tell you, best reason for us to sing the blues around here is this show only has, 15 more minutes to go.
Wow, it went by so quick.
I'll tell you, time passes when you're talking about something fun.
Yeah, fan fiction on Chuckles Crypt, that went by quick. This one we're talking about.
Well, we're talking about Japanese monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, who can't love it? Plus, this is good for the ratings, too. See, I'm commercial enough to appreciate the fact that every time we do a show about the Japanese monsters, whether it's Godzilla or whoever it is, we get really good ratings.
Well, how can you not? They're good movies.
Yeah.
They've stuck around this long for a reason.
They have. And one thing I want to mention, we touched on the Japanese King Kong movies as an example of something they shouldn't have done. And I mentioned Yog, Monster from Space. Right? There's also quite a few other Japanese one-shots. Monster movies that, they don't involve Godzilla. They don't. But I made a couple of notes of that. Now, some of these are good. Some of them are awful. I mean, I'm not talking about quality here. So we have both. But just for everyone that loves Godzilla and everyone that loves Gamera. And here's some that you might not have seen unless you're a fanatic such as us. But check these out if you get a chance. One is called Varan the Unbelievable. Okay, Varan was just one movie. He made a brief one-scene appearance in Destroy All Monsters. Other than that, just one movie featuring that monster. Okay, Majin, Monster of Terror, which there was 3 movies about this, the Japanese samurai war god. It was by the same company that made Gamera, but you wouldn't know it. The production values are really good, especially the first movie. And this is another movie where you don't have to be a giant monster fan to enjoy it. It's Japan in the days of the samurai and an angry war god. I mean, you have to like it. Then from the really good to the ridiculous, there's the X from Outer Space, which has my vote as probably the silliest. And I'm including Son of Godzilla. Probably the silliest giant monster movie the Japanese have ever produced, any of their companies. Check it out, though. I mean, smoke some devil's lettuce, as Tony likes to say. Before you watch this movie, you will hurt yourself. Yeah. Then, Atragon. Okay. Now, Atragon is actually not a monster, but it's the name of a submarine. And this was revived. This was the movie was from the 60s. It was revived for the Godzilla Final Wars. The submarine in Final Wars, which I forget the name of it, it wasn't Atragon.
I don't remember either.
I don't think, no. But the idea of the hunter-killer submarine in Final Wars with the brave commander, and that was taken from Atragon. It was a reboot of Atragon. And it included Manda. Manda is actually one of my favorite monsters. It appears in only 3 movies. 1, the original Atragon. 2, Destroy All Monsters, which is the only time it ever gets to do some city-destroying destruction. And then in Final Wars, where the submarine freezes it to death, just like they did in the original Atragon. Manda is a giant sea lizard who's always getting frozen to death.
Poor lizard.
That's why he quit after 3 movies. He said, "The hell with it." He quit after 2 movies. Then
they promised him not
to
freeze him again. They promised
not to freeze him in Final Wars,
and they did it.
Yep, he saw that thing aiming, the freeze cannon aiming right at him, and that was that for him.
He said, "My contract's up. I'm out of here. Go hire Miley Cyrus for your next one, pal."
Exactly. Then Yog, Monster from Space, I mentioned. And actually, a little for H.P. Lovecraft fans, the name Yog, that monster was actually given the name Yog in tribute to Yog Sothoth, the Lovecraft created
really cool.
demon.
I did not know that.
No, just a bit of trivia for you. I didn't know that either until there was an interview with the creators of the movie. And they said, when they decided to title it for American audiences, that's, Yog for Yog Sothoth. They said Lovecraft was really big at that time. The end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s. Then the only other one I want to mention, which is worth a watch, it's called Dogra the Space Monster. And I don't know if you've seen this one. This is a more obscure one. This is about a giant space cell. It has tentacles. It floats in the clouds. It's green, and it has these long, waving, Cthulhu-like tentacles. Closest thing to a Lovecraft creature that you're going to see in movies. So, not a great movie all the way through, but it's got its moments. And the scenes of this creature, in the black storm clouds with the tentacles coming down from the sky to grab the bridge, and you'll see. Check this out, Dogra the Space Monster. One of my recommendations. We're drastically running short, aren't we?
Pretty much a matter of picking what tune you want to play last.
Saying goodnight and picking a tune. All right, let's go. Let's go with Dimmu. let's do a little Dreamside Dominions for Chuckles the Clown and everybody else
We've
out
been
there.
working.
love
We've
them.
been working together for so long that I knew that was the track you were going to pick.
Well, it's dedicated to Chuckles and all you other satanic
And to Yog.
anti-Yog. All right, so until next time, George Garner saying nighty-night.